this was and how you came to this decision to sign with the UFC?
It was actually a really easy decision to make. And time will tell how wise of a decision it was, but I'm excited. I finally feel like there's something that I can put 100% of myself into, and I will get 100% back. You know, if I slack off, if I sit on the couch and just eat Doritos and give 50%, only train 3 days a week, you know, that'll obviously show. That's not my plan. My plan is to go full tilt, kick my own ass so I don't get my ass kicked when I step into the octagon. Very easy decision, and I'm the kind of person who likes goals and challenges, and this is the biggest challenge I've ever put in front of me. So I'm very excited to climb that mountain, so to speak.
Kind of a polarizing reaction among fans. Some people say it's the greatest thing ever. Some people are saying, "What is this?"
Oh, I'm staying the fuck off Twitter right now because I got friends and family texting me, you know, patting me on the back, congratulations, thumbs up, and I'm staying away from the negativity for now.
Fair enough. 36 years old. What do you think you can accomplish? I mean, realistically, what kind of limits, what kind of goals are you setting for yourself?
You know, I'm not going to try to give you some inspirational, you know, message or anything like that. I just, you know, I know there's a lot of kids out there that look up to me, maybe. I don't know. And I always just tell them to don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do something. If you want to do something, as long as it doesn't harm anybody else, do it. You know, choose a path and work towards it to the best of your ability. And that's all I'm doing here. I'm 36 years young. I've never felt, I mean, I haven't felt this good. Do I look okay? Nobody? All right. Tough crowd?
You broke the internet tonight.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm as nervous as you are. I'm not really used to being in front of large groups of people and speaking. So, no, I'm going to give it 100%. And I just don't let anybody tell me that I cannot do something because I believe in myself and I know I can.
And just last question for me. Inevitably, I think there's going to be comparisons to Brock Lesnar. Do you welcome that and say, you know, I want to try to live up to that type of level? Or would you prefer people say, hey, listen, don't make that comparison. I'm my own guy. I'm doing this a little differently?
Well, you hear positive and negative things about Brock. Oh, Brock, he was a wrestler. You got knocked out. No, dude, Brock was the heavyweight champion. So if somebody's going to compare me to Brock Lesnar, you know, I'll gladly, I'll take that. I think I'm a little cuter, but, you know.
Phil, Kevin Ioli with Yahoo Sports. First of all, you know, when Dana came over, he said you're probably looking at 185, but he said you wouldn't rule out 170. They bill you in wrestling at 218. What is your walking around weight, and what is your thought process on a division?
The first legitimate conversation I had with Lorenzo and Dana, I was 215. And I ate so much food in front of them, and then hindsight, I was probably like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You know, I ate everything. But since then, I've already lost 15 pounds, and I've been training my ass off already, anticipating this. So it's super exciting for me. I think I could, I don't want to say easily, get to 185. I'm going to do a test weight cut. I'm going to use all the contacts I already have to get the best nutritionist, whatnot, and I'm going to see how I feel. I'm just not ruling out 170. I got to test my body, my body fat percentage and all that other stuff. I'm just not ruling out 170 just in case. But 185 is most likely the target.
You've been working out, Dana told us, for a while. You know, Brock had that base of wrestling. He was a national championship type wrestler. What is your background? I mean, we know you've been working with Henner and whatnot, but I mean, what do you feel like your base is, and what is it that you're going to bring to the cage that you think might make you successful?
Just for the length that I've known Henner and been working with him, I definitely say my base is jiu-jitsu. I'm by no means like a kickboxing whiz or anything like that, but I intend to be as well-rounded as I possibly can before I step foot in the cage.
And then my last question for you is, obviously, you know, boxing, WWE, and wrestling pay-per-view has been down, and certainly in this sport, they could use a little bit of a jolt. Do you feel like one of the attractions you had to management was the fact that, you know, you can work a mic and, you know, maybe beat Chael Sonnen too?
I would like to think that Chael was emulating me most of his career, and I say that lovingly. I definitely think that's an aspect of it. I mean, if I was just Phil Brooks, I'm coming into the biggest fighting organization in the world with an 0-0 record, and I understand that. I'm sure people are still going to throw that in my face, but that does not bother me. That's the reality of it, and I embrace that reality. Can CM Punk fight? Yeah, I think everybody and on some level can fight. It's in our DNA. I intend to take this very seriously. And like I said with Joe Rogan, cage side, I respect everybody who's ever stepped foot in the cage. And before I'm done here, everybody will respect me as well.
Hey Phil, Brett Okamoto with ESPN. I just had one question for you really, and that was when Brock came in, there was this story about how he practically kind of had to beg, to get that kind of opportunity. And there have been some other guys who have come in and sort of, is this the right fit? And they had to beg the UFC for an opportunity. What was their reaction to you when you said that this is something that you wanted to do? Did they take you pretty seriously right off the bat?
No, because I want to say, I can't even remember. It was here. It was in Mandalay Bay. And I think in passing, I might have said something to Lorenzo, like half-ass joking, and then he kind of like half-ass joked back. And then I think that's where the seed was planted. I didn't have to beg. They didn't have to beg. Honestly, I just think it's a perfect match, because of guys like Brock Lesnar who have laid the groundwork. Dana already told me somebody asked him, and if it's you, just raise your hand. Somebody asked him, I thought you don't do freak show fights. And I kind of wear that like a badge because I was a huge Pride fan. So if anybody out there considers me a freak show fight, I just think that's kind of funny.
Would you have found a way to do this if the UFC had said, we just can't take an 0-0 fighter right now with no experience? Would you have gone on and fought in the sport in some way, somehow?
Absolutely. I think because, and people close to me know how long I've talked about doing this. It isn't so much about UFC. It's about me and what I know I have inside of me, and I want to prove not only to the world, but more importantly to myself. This is something that I've thought about for a very long time and haven't been able to do. So once the opportunity presented itself, I would have been a fool to say no. Thank you.
Phil, you talked on your interview with Colt Cabana last week about the fact that WWE had a non-compete with you and it specifically referenced UFC.
Yeah.
Was that something that had to be worked around, or was it already clear for you to come to UFC?
It all got cleared up actually on my birthday. It was a nice birthday present. Myself and WWE settled everything, and no compete went out the window.
Okay, so and when was your birthday? I'm sorry.
The 26th of October.
Okay. So when you did the interview with Colt, you were talking about past tense, but you were actually free to go at that time.
Yeah.
And, obviously this is news to a lot of us, but in terms of being, given serious consideration to this, I know you've trained with Henry Gracie for a long time. It's been previously mentioned. Did you talk to him at length or other people about, realistically what they thought your chances would be?
Well, I didn't want to talk to too many people within the MMA community because obviously if multiple people know a secret, it no longer is a secret. But Henry's somebody I trust dearly. So I at the beginning of November when I went out there and I was like, I got to train every day, twice a day. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And he was kind of like, okay, well, why? Well, what's the deal? And I told him I was fighting. I didn't say UFC. I didn't give him any more details. And, he, like a brother, is concerned about doing that because he has trained and rolled with the best of the best. I mean, Lyoto Machida, guys who have been champions here. So he knows the level of competition, and he knows me. But he also knows that I don't take no for an answer and how determined I am. So I have his full undying support, which is nice in these trying times.
And finally for you, has there been any reaction, to the best of your knowledge, from the WWE? Has contact been cut off completely, or have you heard from anybody?
I mean, I got friends. My wife works there.
Right.
So I have talked to her, and she's not thrilled, but she's okay with it, and she's got my back 100%, and that means the world to me. And I got a lot of other friends who are ecstatic. My phone exploded when we made the announcement, and I haven't gotten a chance to go through it all because I was watching the fights. So that'll be what I'm doing after dinner tonight, is just playing on my phone.
We'll take two more
Thanks.
people. John, we'll go back to you.
Just a quick follow-up. Will Henner continue to be your trainer, or will you seek another camp, or do you think that's where you'll do all of your training?
That's an interesting question. Henner's always going to be my guy, but when we get closer to figuring out when I'm ready and if we have a date, I don't know if I want to piecemeal a camp together. I definitely need to find a place that is best for me and my needs. And I don't want to be somebody who's going to, sort of cherry pick guys that I'm just comfortable with. I need to go to a place that breeds champions and trains the best, And I'm not saying I have the pick of the litter so far. I just have a lot of friends who have already, with open arms, said, "Come here, come here, come here." So I'm fortunate in that respect. I don't have a crystal ball. I would love to see Henner, walk into the cage with me, if that helps answer the question. But I don't know for sure. I got to talk to him.
Are you willing to mention any specific options as places you're considering?
Places I'm considering. I'm legit. I'm considering them all. I really want to go somewhere, like I said, that's the best best fit for me. It's weird being CM Punk, the WWE guy. I've been to gyms not only in Chicago, but across the country if I'm on the road or whatever, and you walk in there and you kind of have a bullseye on you, like, oh, I'm gonna break the phony pro wrestling guy's arm, when I just wanted to roll or sweat or whatnot. So I just got to make sure I'm comfortable with everybody. And first and foremost, I don't know if moving somewhere is an option. Obviously, one of the priorities in my life is my wife and my relationship with her. So, we might have to rent somewhere. I might have to buy a condo. I don't know, but I'm prepared to do all of it. And as long as she's supporting me, the sky's the limit.
Question in the back. That'll be our last question.
Scott Lewis, MMA Fight Radio. Brock Lesnar was the obvious comparison, but even he had a fight in K1 Dynamite to get kind of the cage experience. Why not take a fight first? Why go right into the world-class UFC? Why not have a fight, kind of get that experience first?
Good question. I just think that's where Dana and Lorenzo come in and say the big business is your first fight. So win, lose, or draw, if I fought somewhere else, maybe the little bit of the luster would have gotten knocked off, and make no mistake, I'm not. This is very much a business as well as fighting, and there's both sides of it, and I think they kind of merged perfectly. So I was willing to do that, and I still would be, because it's weird. It's like this is something I'm doing for myself, to test myself, and it's certainly not all about the money, but it's also nice to get paid.
All right, guys, we will start the UFC 181 press conference in about 15 minutes. Phil, welcome to the UFC.
Hey, I'm glad you stuck me out here. I didn't want to be out here with the fighters because this is their night, and I didn't want to be the shithead that, oh, hey, guys, everybody's asking me questions. There's a whole bunch of fighters that are going to come out here, and, it's very much their night. So I want to thank them, even though they're not here yet, for allowing me to sit here and answer your guys' questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.